here and meeting this very sharp and highly creative group. Thank you, Zaiba and Jessica, for organizing this. What really impresses me is that it's not just an art project, but you're building a community here, and I really appreciate that. I think this is very important, especially looking at what's been happening in the past weeks, right? So this is great. I come from a very academic background, and I actually never really studied art, and I'm an architect by training. I have a bunch of master degrees, and I did my PhD on art and neuroscience, which was the final step. And currently I'm a professor at UC San Diego. So I'm hailing from California, which is totally not sunny today. It's been very gray and cloudy the past week. Don't ask me why. So I actually want to just say this out loud first. I would like to invite you digitally or I hope perhaps physically at some point in the future to join our classes and perhaps for artist talks, etc. Like all of you, I think are ridiculously interesting people and you're doing amazing work. So let's definitely stay in touch. So I have that thing going on. But the project that I contributed is part of my genetically modified God series. As I said, I'm an architect by training, but I have this long interest in modifying living organisms. So I think my first really truly feminist works was designing genitalia. So I designed what I called neolabium, which was an exaggerated female organ, which you would show off, like you wouldn't hide it. I designed penises and I designed creatures with like multiple mammary glands, which I called super mammals. So that was like way back, like 14, 15 years ago. And I was sculpting them by hand. So what I do is I sculpt by hand and then I move it to the digital platform. And following that organ design, I started thinking about designing the next human, right? What would be the next, iteration on human? How would human desires, collective ambitions would be reflected upon what we ask of the next human? So what you're seeing in the background is one of these like genetically modified humans. He's called Borea, and his spiel is that he can live longer. Obviously, that's the thing, right? Longevity. I thought about other characters that could fit for this project, but with this one, I used a Latin phrase called ars longa vitae brevis, which has stayed with me for as long as I think I learned about this phrase when I was like 18 or something. And I thought, oh, that's cool, art, because it translates to art lives, life is short, art is long, right? But art, you can take it as in a literal sense, just like painting or sculpting, but it could be something deeper, which I think brings all of us together here. Like we're thinkers, we're makers, but there's a lot of like philosophical inquiry, ideological, resistance that goes into our work. So I thought that in the midst of this turmoil, remembering that life is short and art is long is something cool to do. And it made sense to put this sign on my character that would live forever, because that it could just rotate, for eternity. I know there's a lot of people in this group, so I'm going to keep it short, but I hope to continue the conversation in other platforms. Thank you so much.